Fine, we'll start the session now. Somebody is not mute. Who is Roshan?
Yes, sir.
Please keep it on mute.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Thank you. Now today we are going for developing the simple page, simple OAF page. Whatever we have done yesterday, let me do again same. I'm not going to create Java workspace again. We have already Java workspace, right? Right click. I'm creating the new project, new OA project, new OA project, Ola2 dot Oracle dot apps dot po dot requisition dot web UI database connection, application username and password, and DBC file name, database connectivity file, and the responsibility name of the responsibility. Just 1 second. Hello. Fine. So provide the application username and password, responsibility, finish. Once we create Java workspace and then Java project, then we have to create AM, application module. Then we have to go for creation of AM application module. So select your project. Once the project is created, next we have to create AM. Right click, new, ADF business components, application module. AM must be defined in server. And name of the AM, Ola2 AM. Finish. Once AM is created, let me go for page. We'll go for page creation. How to create the page? Go to application sources. We are able to find all other sources, but actually our source is Ola2, right? This is what actually our source, our folder. Remaining folders we don't require. So what we can do, go to the folder, right click, project properties, add Ola2, press OK. Only our folder is there here. We have already created AM in the server. Now we want to create the page. Go to your project, right click, new, OA components, page. OA components, page, name of the page. What is the page name? We can give any name, Ola2 page. Page will be defined which folder? Web UI folder. So default you got Web UI, press OK. So we created AM and we created page, then attach AM to the page. How to attach AM to the page? Go to the page. Page is nothing but a group of regions. What is the default region? Page layout region. And there is a property called AM definition. We have to attach our AM to the page. This is our AM. And then go for attach the window title. Select region, window title. And title if required, we can run. After that, design the page is done. Then run the page. Designing we don't have right now. We are just attaching the page and run the page. Yes. Now this is what the page we have designed and executed. Now today we are going to select the data from the database. Nothing but we have to create a view object. View object is nothing but a select statement. We don't find any other information. It's a select statement. Once the view object is created, then you have to attach to the AM. AM is attached to the page. So whenever you attach your AM to the page, what is the meaning of that? Inside of your AM, there may be some view objects. That view object can be displayed in your page. That view objects can be displayed in your page. Now I would like to go for select the supplier information. I would like to select supplier information. So what we will do, go to server, right click, new view object. New view object. We have to use the server folder for AM and view object. Web UI folder for page. .schema.server for entity object. So that is not right now, that comes later. Next examples. Now we are going for server, right click, create view object. Click next button. By default, you got server folder. In case if you go to requisition folder and right click new view object, manually you have to enter server here. Manually you have to enter the server. What is the name of the view object? We can give any name. I'm going to say supplier view object. We can give small letter and capital letter. But why I am giving capital letter VO is the moment when you see the name, I can understand it's a view object. When we see the name, we can understand it's a view object. So make sure that it is server and the name of the view object. View object is nothing but a select statement. We don't do anything here. I'm selecting vendor ID, vendor name, date from AP suppliers. First I am selecting only one record where row num less than or equal to 1. Next example, we'll see multiple records. Now I am selecting only one record. Select vendor ID, vendor name, creation date from AB suppliers. This. Click next button. Finish. View object is created successfully. We must attach view object to AM. Go to AM, right click, edit. System is showing that there is one view object in your folder. Attach. Once you attach your view object to AM, your view object name will be changed. Your view object name will be changed. You will get one. Your view object name is supplier VO. After we attach to AM, it has become a supplier VO1. In your logic or coding, you have to use this name, not this one. You have to use this name. Now view object is assigned to the AM, AM is assigned to the page. These two steps we have done. We have created a view object. Then we have attached view object to the AM. Now we are going to design the page. We are going to design the page. In view object, how many columns are there? Columns are nothing but attributes. 3 columns are there. That 3 columns we can display in the page because view object is assigned to the AM, AM is assigned to the page. Now go to the page, region, right click. I'm going to use the region called default single column. I'm going to use the region called default single column. Yesterday we have discussed different regions. We have discussed default single column, double column, message component layout, header region. We can use any of these regions. Now I am going for default single column. Yes. Any text you would like to provide? Heading, Ola suppliers data. How many columns you have in your view object? 3 columns. Means 3 items. Go to region, right click, new item. Again, right click, new item. 3 items. First item, what you would like to display? Message text input, let's say. This is for vendor ID. What is the data type of your table? AP suppliers. Describe the table. Vendor ID, what is the data type? Number data type. There is no width. We can say simply number. Data type is number. And view instance is nothing but your view object name. View attribute is nothing but your column name. Select what is your view instance. There is only one view instance and only one attribute. What is the attribute? Attribute is nothing but a column. What about the prompt? Supplier ID, some name I will provide. First column is done. Second, varchar 2 of 240. So we should take care of this width, otherwise we'll get error message. Exact length we have to mention. 2 properties are important. View instance, nothing but your view object. View attribute, nothing but column name. And then prompt. That's all. If there are 100 columns also, same way you will go for display. Data type is date. View instance is nothing but view object. View attribute is nothing but creation date. And prompt supplier date. That's it. We have created view object, attached view object to the AM. AM is assigned to the page. Inside of page, you are displaying your view objects. Let's run the page. Now what happened? We got the page. You got some message here, personalized OLA suppliers data. We'll talk about that later. Now this is your default single column region. 3 fields we got. But we don't have the data. If you look at in Oracle applications, generally when we go to the responsibility, when you open any form, D2K forms, we don't find the data. Then what we used to have, control F11. Control F11, we used to have it. How will you go to the next record? Up and down arrow marks. Any form, D2K forms, if you open, you don't find the data. Then you have to press Control F11. Internally, select statement will be executed. For OAF pages, Control F11 will not work. That is for D2K forms, not for OAF pages. Then how can you execute the query? Your query is here, right? Here is your query. This is your query. Then how can you execute? As I told last session, in OAF page, there will be a controller. If you want to write any code, that you have to write in controller. Two methods are there: process request, process form request. This method will be fired when the page is opened. This method will be fired when user click the buttons. Right now, my requirement is when the page is opened, data should be present. I don't want to query the data. The moment when the page is loaded first time, data should be present. So what we have to do, you have to write a logic in this method. So now what we have to do is we have to create a controller. Go to the page, how to create a controller. Select page, region, right click, set new controller. Controller is nothing but a Java class. Controller is nothing but a Java class. Controller also should be in web UI. Here if we look at 2 times we got web UI. This we don't want. One time enough. What is the name of the controller? We can give any name. Press OK. Now this is your controller, Java class. How many methods are there here? 2 methods. Process request, process form request. 2 methods are there. If you want to execute your code when the page is loaded, you have to write here. If you want to execute your code for your user submissions, nothing but click the button slot, then you have to write here. Right now our requirement is this method. What is our task? I want to execute this query. Query means view object. But view object I cannot access from controller. What you can access? Only AM you can access. If we look at our interactions from the controller, you can access only AM. Within the AM, you can have the view objects, then you can access. First, you have to do the AM access. Then you have to go for view object. Yeah, Sekhar, you are not able to hear my voice. What about others?
Shweta here, I can hear your voice.
Audible.
Are you able to hear me, everyone?
Yeah.
Fine. So now from the controller, first we have to access the AM and then you access your view object and execute. Okay. Fine. For every component, there will be a one class. In Fission, sorry, in OAF, for every component, there will be a one class. For AM, there will be a one class that we have to import. What is the class? OA application module. Now, system is telling that this class is available. Do you want to import this class? Yes. Press Alt Enter. How to find the class is imported successfully or not? Go here. Here you will come to know the class is imported successfully. Once you import the class, you can use that class methods. Whatever the methods are there in the class, that you can use. So the first step, you have to import the class. Right now I want to work with the AM. There will be a class. You want to work with the view object. There will be a class. You want to work with entity object. There will be a class. For every component, there will be a class. You have to import that. Now OA stands for Oracle Applications. Application module, nothing but AM. How to use the class? You have to define one object. Whenever you want to use your class methods, better to define one object. Now the task is, in your page, which AM is assigned, that we have to know. There are two methods here, page context, web bin. Page context is basically to get your page information. To get your page information. So I want to know which AM is assigned for my page. Get application module. Page context dot get application module web bin. So I'm trying to get what is the AM is assigned to my page. I got here. Inside of this AM, I want to know my view object is there or not. When you want to work with view object, first you have to import view object class. First you have to import your view object class. View object class you have to import. OA view object. Alt enter. OA view object. How to find the class is imported or not? Here. Because now I want to work with the view object. So we have to import that class. Define the object. Now OA view object, this we call it as a typecasting. Java coding is case sensitive. We have to remember. Inside of the AM, we are going to find view object is exist or not. What is your view object? Supplier V1. That is the view object. So 2 lines of coding I have written. First line is basically to find what is the AM assigned to my page. Second one is to find my view object is exist in the AM or not. When you want to work with AM, first you have to import the class, define the object. For my page, whatever the AM is assigned, that I want to get. Yes, we got. Inside of this AM, I want to know my view object is exist or not. View object is exist. Then we want to execute the view object. View object is nothing but a select statement. If the view object is exist, then we are going to execute that. That's so in the first line, we have initialized AM. Second line, we are going to find view object. Third line, we are going to execute your view object. Class names will be started with capital letter. Methods will be started with small letter. Class names will be started with capital letter. Method will be started with small letter. So OA page context is one of the class. OA web bin is one of the class. Process request is a method. Yes. That's all. Now run the page. So in OAF, if you are able to understand these 2 lines of coding, maximum enough. If you are clear what I have written here, these 2 lines, that's more than enough. Remaining thing you can do it. We got an error message here. You have encountered an expected error. Click here. You got some Java null pointer exception. It means your view object name is wrong. Unknown source. Whatever the view object name you are given, that is wrong. Supplier VO1, that is your view object. Supplier VO is the view object name, but after assigning to the AM, the name has become VO. This we have to use. Now run the page. Now we can see OAF page is completed successfully, and we got records also. Only one record is fetched from the database because we have written the query like that. Query means view object. Yes. These regions will support only one record. If you want multiple records, then we have to go for table region. At a time you want to see multiple records, then we have to go for table region. Okay, fine. So let me go for development of another page. So this is one project we have done. Close. Let me do the same steps again. Go to Java workspace. Right. Workspace is already created. Now we'll go for project. Go to Java workspace, right click, new OA project. Three. You can use any username, no problem. Let me go for 748 user. Finish. Once the Java project is created, next we have to create AM. Go to the project, right click. New ADF business components, application module. AM must be defined in the server. OAF2 is already there. 3 AM. We don't write any logic in the AM, just create. After creating the AM, next step is we have to create a view object. You can write any select statement. Right click, new. Go to application sources. What is your folder? OAF3. This. Instead of other folders, we can go for select only our folder in the project. Go to project, right click, project properties. OAF3. Yes. Now we want to create the view object, select statement. Go to server, right click, view object. View object must be defined in server. Same, supplier VO. Write your select statement. Vendor ID, vendor name, creation date, city, zip code from AP, suppliers, order by, vendor ID, descending order. Zip code spelling mistake is there, I think. What happened?
Comma is missing.
Fine. Suppliers, we don't have zip code.
No, comma is there.
Yes, we don't have supplier name, ID, and date. What other columns are there? Let me go for supplier name. We are selecting supplier type, vendor type lookup code. Then supplier number, segment 1. Okay. 5 columns we have selected: vendor ID, vendor name, date, vendor type, and vendor number. Segment 1 is nothing but a supplier number. Any query we can write. Once the view object is created, in case you want to modify the select statement, right click, edit SQL statement and make changes. Attach the view object to AM. That's the next step we have to do. Attach your view object to the AM. Go to AM, edit, attach your view object to AM. Next, create the page. How to create page? Go to requisition, right click, new, OA components, page. Page must be in which folder? .webui, folder 3 page. Press OK. Now go to the page. Default region is this. Attach your AM to the page. This. You are attaching this AM to the page means indirectly all the view objects which are there in your AM you can display in your page. Go to the page, region, attach your AM. What is your AM? Vola 3. Enter the window title is mandatory. Now we have assigned AM to the page. Next, what do you have to do? Design the page. Now I want to have the multiple records. When I say multiple records, then which region we have to choose? Table region you have to use. Table region is required for multiple records. Here it will ask you how many regions. Sorry, how many records? 10 records at a time. And how much page width you want to use? 100% page width I want to use. So we have to choose the region style as table, some heading, width, page width, and records displayed at a time. 10 records or 5 records or 20 records that we are going to configure. Okay. Next, remaining is common. Right click, new, item. How many items are there in your view object? 5 items. So whatever you want that you can display. I required 5. So display 5. Okay, fine. There was some network issue. Fine. Now we'll go for first one item. It's vendor ID, style, text input, data type, number, view instance, nothing but your view object, view attribute, nothing but column, and prompt. Next, second, vendor name, maximum length. What is the length? Vendor name is 240. So length we have to maintain properly, otherwise we'll get error messages. View instance, view attribute. and prompt. Next, date. Data type, date, view instance, view attribute. Next, what other columns you have? Vendor type lookup code. What is the data type? 30. View instance, view object. Vendor type. Next, segment 1, varchar 2 of 30. Varchar 2 of 30. Supplier number. Let's say there are 30-40 columns. Instead of manual process, we can go through wizard. So in the wizard, what happened? It will automatically prepare everything. Now we have done manually. So we have designed the page. Then once you run the page, what happened? Without data, only page will be displayed. We don't find any data. Yes. This is our table region. Vendor ID, supplier name, supplier date, vendor type, and supplier number. But we don't have the records because you have to go for create the controller and execute your view object. Means your select statement should be executed. Now go to the page, region, right click, set new controller. Controller will be defined in .webui. Name of the controller. The controller is having two methods, process request, process form request. 1 second. Recording. Process request we require because this method will be fired when we open the page. So first what we have to do, we have to initialize the AM which is assigned to the page. Whatever the AM you have assigned to the page, I want that AM. If you want to store your AM, first you have to import AM class, OA application module, press Alt Enter, select. How will you find whether imported or not? Go to the top of the controller. Here you can see the class is imported. Define the object for the class. Now, what is our task? We want to know what is the AM assigned to our page. Any page related information you want, use this method. Page context dot. What do you want? You want to get your application module which is assigned to your page. We'll talk about this web bin later. This we'll talk about later. Now you got your AM. Inside of this AM, I want to get this view object. We want to find the view object. First, we have to import your view object class. Define the object, typecasting, am dot find view object. What is your view object name? Supplier VO1. If the view object is exist, we want to go for execute query. Here we are going to find the view object is exist in the AM or not. If exist, then execute the view object. Right now I have defined one object for our view object V1. V1 is indirectly this one. Your view object V1 dot execute query. Once we create controller, inside of controller we are executing the query, then you have to run the page. Go to the page. Now this is our data. Supplier ID, supplier name. Yes. Now entire page has occupied 100%. And at a time, how many records? 10 records. Next 10 records like this. But all are text items. Text item means user can modify it. If you say user should not modify, then item style you can change to message style text. Item style you can change to message styled text. Now you can see vendor ID is a styled text. Vendor name is a styled text. This is your normal text input. Yes. Now I required here supplier sites, one more table region, separate query. No problem. You can do that. Now go to server, right click, new view object, site view object. Select vendor ID, vendor site code, city, zip code from AP, supplier, site sol. Finish. How many view objects are here? 2 view objects, means 2 queries. Attach this view object to AM. The moment when you define the view object, it should be assigned to the AM. Because your AM is assigned to the page. In the page already one view object we have displayed. Now we are going for second view object. Go to the region, right click, new. Last time we have defined the region manually. Now we'll go for wizard. Create a region through the wizard. What is your application module that we have to select? What is our AM? OLA 3. Select application module. So all are 3. How many view objects are here? Supplier view object and site view objects. We required site view objects. Next, which region you want to use now? Table region we want to use. Which columns you want to use? Attributes? All the columns. And which style you want to use? I want to use all are styled text. And you want to change any prompt, you can change. That's it. Now table region is created. Inside of that items also created. In all these items, data type is configured, view instance, view attribute, prompt, everything is configured. Go to table region. How many records you want here at a time? I want only 5 records. How much space you want to use? 100% page width I want to use. Any text information, heading we can provide. That's it. Now one more region is created. Now run the page. Now here you can see supplier sites, but data is not there. You don't have the data. You have to execute your view object. How can you execute? You have to go to the controller. We have already controller for our page. Already controller is there. We have already imported AM. We have already executed one view object. Now second view object we have to find. What is your second view object name? Site view 1, and object name has to be changed. Then go for execute the query. So AM is only one, right? Within the AM, how many view objects are there? 2 view objects are there. That we have defined 2 objects, and we are going to find and execute. That's it. Run the page. So this is how we can create the view object, either one or multiple. How to link the view objects, next level we'll discuss. That is master detail. Right now, 2 view objects we have created, means 2 queries we have created attached to the AM. AM is attached to the page, and we have displayed all our view objects in the page. For one view object, we have taken one region. For another view objects, we have taken another region. Now this is your supplier region. This is your supplier site. How many fields at a time? 5. Next. All are styled text. We have selected all are styled text. But here some of the things are styled text, some of the things are text. Like this, we can have multiple queries. This is how to develop one simple OAF page. Here, write the logic. This is maximum logic we'll write in OAF page. Remaining also will define, but that will be similar to PLSQL. Declare variables, write if statement, write for loop, write exceptions. These all are already we know in PLSQL. But PLSQL syntax is different, Java syntax is different. Okay, this is new. This you don't find in the PLSQL. Importing the class, define the object, and execute your methods. This all. Okay, fine. This you can practice. Tomorrow we will discuss the second method. Today what happened? When the page is open, data is there. Tomorrow we'll discuss when user click the button, we want the data. I don't want the data when the page is loaded. When user click the button, we want the data. That we'll discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow also same procedure, but this code we will write here. You have to write in this method. So this is when the page is open. Fine.